First of all, everyone, I want to thank you to another joining us in another episode of Buzz. We got a huge special guest today, longtime friend, just brilliant dude, amazing human being, and welcome Brad Braman from Empowered Dentist to the pod.
Well, Brad, thanks. I'm really honored to be here. This is quite an honor. Yeah, it's got it, man. How long have we've been friends and working together both? Geez, going on 10 years now, probably.
I think, yeah. I mean, at least, yeah.
And yeah, and man, I'm continually amazed, awed, awestruck at what your web savvy and your marketing savvy and your ability to get people's message out there, including my own. Uh, Gosh, you just built a remarkable website for me, and really am grateful to you. It's you are in a class of your own.
Well, man, that means a lot coming from you. And a little bit of plug, empowereddentist.com. We'll talk about that later. So you could check out Brad's coaching services and also doing one-on-one on-demand coaching. So we could talk about how you're offering just like hour calls on demand. We got that a little bit of that inspiration from that really cool app out there called Intro. Which
Yeah.
anyone doesn't know about Intro, it's a really cool app where like you can go book a consultation with like household name entrepreneurs who have built and sold brands that we all know about and had multi-billion dollar exits. And so Brad Brayman here has his own coaching program where he offers one-on-one coaching, similar type of model. But before we get into all that good stuff, and we're going to call this podcast, I believe, something like how to empowered become a more empowered team or dentist for the coming year. I would just ask you because you're all about growth and learning. You're always going to conferences to be better, coaching and consulting programs. You're like always doing stuff. Anything you're enjoying right now, either a book or a podcast that you want to share with the audience that you recommend during the holidays that we check out?
Yes, there absolutely is. My favorite podcast, hands down, has nothing to do with business, but that's life should come first.
Yes.
And this podcast is really is really about life, and being enjoying increasing your health span, as opposed to just increasing your lifespan and spending another 10 years hooked up to a ventilator. The podcast, and I listen to this religiously every week when it comes out on Monday. It's called The Drive, and the host is a physician. His name is Peter Attia, Attia,
Hmm.
and he blends the his information nicely. First of all, he's a great interviewer, and second of all, he interviews exquisite people in their field, and it all is centered around longevity, although he uses that term very cautiously, but it's all centered around increasing your health span and enjoying your life, enjoying everything that life has to offer. And so he talks a lot about physical health. He interviews people about physical health, exercise, blood chemistry, all those sorts of things. And he also deals with what I think is equally, if not more important, and that's mental health. He
Absolutely.
interviews some incredible people around the topic of mental health, because I don't care how physically healthy you are, if your mental health isn't equally uh, up to par, it's life's just not a whole lot of fun. But he's really good. Anyway, he blends the nerdy science stuff
Right.
with very approachable, actionable information. And so, whether you're a doctor or not, it doesn't matter. There'll be some stuff. If you're not, there'll be some stuff that just kind of goes in one ear and out the other, and that's just fine. But he also makes it very approachable and useful to someone who isn't a physician. Um, and every now and then he'll do just kind of a cool, fun podcast on something random. He loves Formula One racing, for example.
Yeah.
So every now and then, but it's centered around just enjoying your life,
Well,
and
that's
it
big for you, Brad, right? Because your whole thing is like every time, I talk to you, you got a fishing expedition or you're going to ride motorcycles, you're taking this adventure, or like you're nonchalantly like, yeah, we're just driving down there for the weekend. I'm like, well, how far is that? I don't know, 8 hours. And like for you, you're an adventurous guy, an adventurous spirit, which is really inspiring. And that's also part of your program also, because it's not just about clinical block booking, all that stuff at the office. You're really want to show people how to enjoy their lives and have more time to do things. And that also ties into becoming more empowered for the new year. So, for anyone listening, how would you recommend they become more empowered, either as a leader, dentist, team, and also away from the office in the coming year?
Well, that you mentioned something in that question that I think is really key. Now, two things. One is that life is more important. People always talk about work-life balance, and that's backwards. Life comes first. Should be life-work balance is what is really how this game should be played. And so for those doctors that, well, or just not just doctors, but entrepreneurs. I work with entrepreneurs from all walks of the entrepreneurial world,
Yeah.
not just dentists. And one thing that is critical to enjoying your life is obviously not spending too many of those days, too many of your days in the office. And some you mentioned this just nonchalantly. I don't even know if you meant to, but the block booking is super key to to earning the money you want to earn while being able to get out and enjoy the money you earn and not being caged in your office for the entire year.
Yeah.
I just took on a new client the other day who he last year he took one long weekend, and so I asked him, well, why did you, when we were speaking before he decided to hire me, why did you reach out? And he said, because I said, I loved your tagline. It says, take back your life. He said, right now, my business, my dental practice owns my life. And he said, I can't, he said, I can't do it anymore. So he said, I really want to take back my life. And he asked me, what is the one thing, this was before we had engaged, what is the one thing I can do that's going to contribute the most to that? And I said, well, there isn't one thing that as a standalone can do that. But the one thing that is supported by everything else is block booking.
Mm.
And with block booking, what you're able to do is control your schedule. And you plan to have the appropriate amount of production and hence collections in advance. And you schedule your days so that one, they're not hectic and crazy and make you want to just burn the place down and run for the hills. But you schedule your days so you actually enjoy them, and you schedule your days so that while enjoying them, you're actually able to produce the amount of revenue that you want to produce. And by doing that, you're able to also enjoy your life, meaning not spend it in the office.
Right. That's powerful stuff.
It's unbelievably powerful. I know when I switched to block booking in my practice, it was an absolute game changer. I went from taking 4 weeks off, which for some people is quite a bit.
Yeah.
Uh, but I couldn't go on my motorcycle adventures and my fishing trips and all the crazy stuff I like to do if I didn't get a hold of this thing. So once I implemented it, I was still able to. I actually raised my production and hence collections, and I was taking between 14 and 16 weeks off depending on the year.
So that's really interesting. So we recommend online scheduling for a lot of offices.
Oh
Next
yeah,
Health, big shout out to Next Health, they're a sponsor of the pod.
those guys, they're unbelievable.
They are an
That
unbelievable
is, yeah.
company. By the way,
Just to
thinking of
point,
yeah, oh yeah, go on, yeah.
if you don't have, if you are a practicing doctor, dentist, physician, whatever, if you don't use Next Health, you are missing out. That's a rocket ship.
Wow, dude, I should introduce you should be one of their KOLs as well. I'm serious because I feel the same way. Like that is a legit software company, great support, and it's basically like, most restaurants have open table or Resi, and if you don't,
Yeah,
it's those one-off restaurants where you like, okay, we expect to wait because it's like that special of a restaurant. Like there's a Italian place in Chicago called Tofano's where like they don't take reservations, but like you're gonna hang out at the bar and have a calamari and you're gonna wait an hour for your table. But that's part of the experience. Most restaurants, you need the reservation. So with
yeah,
practices, some of the hesitation like anything new as a business owner, might be a little uncomfortable, especially from the front desk, kind of giving up the schedule and worrying about no shows. And having a 2 hour hold that's not filled and all these things. But when I hear block booking, clearly there has to be some strategy and coordination with
Mhm.
online scheduling or another platform they're using for the online scheduling. Do you help with that? Because it's not just the dentist owner, it's clearly the front desk who's like, making sure it's synced properly with the practice management system and make sure the blocks are properly set. Is this something also that you
Yes,
do?
absolutely. And that's a big. By the way, this is not a plug for Next Health, although, well, I guess kind of it is because
Yeah,
they're phenomenal. Yeah, if you're not
I
using
agree.
them,
They are phenomenal. Yeah.
if you're not using them, you should be. But they're not paying me any money to say that. But that's one of the beautiful things about block booking is that using a program like Next Health or whatever you use with block booking, it allows you to only have the procedures you want at specific times.
Yeah.
And so let's say you want new patient exams, new patient appointments. You tell Next Health that these are the times at which we have new patient blocks available, new patient appointments available. And and it and whether it's Next Health booking or whether even if you don't, and your receptionist is booking it, it makes it a lot easier for your receptionist to block booking. That is, makes it a lot easier for your receptionist to convey quickly to uh, potential new patients when they can come in,
Hmm.
rather than trying to shoehorn something in here in there and trying to stuff something over there, which your receptionist knows in the back of the mind is that it's probably not really going to work, and we're going to keep them waiting, and we're going to tick them off. By the way, that's another beautiful thing about block booking is you don't run late
Mm.
when you schedule things for how long you want to schedule them. So you start, finish, stop with that appointment. So you're not up and down, up and down, up and down. By the way, the most uh, on average, getting up to do a recall exam while you are operating costs you on average about $125 to get up and go do that exam. And most recall exams are remunerated somewhere in the 50 to $125 range. So even if you're on the upper end of that at $125, you're still losing, well, you're breaking even at best.
Mm.
And you ticked off your patient that you had to get up and leave,
Right.
because now they just had to sit there with a tennis ball in their mouth while you go. You see, that was a reference to Far Side. Um, while you go do the exam for somebody. So block booking makes your day flow so much more smoothly, and it enables you to produce what you want to produce on your terms, not on someone else's.
What is Dental Year? Dental Year is the leading marketing app in dentistry. Created by marketers, this resourceful platform helps your dental practice in a variety of ways. Content inspiration, real-time marketing ideas, tips on ROI with your current methods, fresh resources, and lots more.
But back to your receptionist. Your receptionist is able to schedule things very clearly and succinctly and easily, and it takes a ton of stress off of them because they don't have to wonder if they can shoehorn something in here and hope that it works. And they hope that you don't come up and say, why on earth did you schedule that there? Because you already gave them permission to schedule that there. You don't, as a doctor, you don't have to go check and see, well, why did you schedule that there? And how in the world are we ever going to get that done? And oh no, you need to call them back and reschedule it and move them here or move them there. So it enables a much more rich patient experience because they're able to schedule at a time that your receptionist knows they're going to be cared for well, and they're going to have your undivided attention. And because of that, you're able to close a lot more cases because you're not distracted. So you can really focus on your new patient.
I love that. That's
Yeah, there's only upside to block booking, and it takes, you have to design it properly. If you don't design it properly, it can actually make things worse.
yeah.
But if you design it properly, and that's something that I work with my clients to do, is we base it specifically on what they like to do and how long they want to take to do things. So it's very individual, very unique, very specific, bespoke to each individual doctor as to what the block booking thing looks like. It's not a template that somebody can just hand you. Well, some people do just hand you a template and say, here's your block booking schedule, go to work. That's not a long-term tenable situation, because it like I said, it can actually make things worse.
Yeah. Besides everything you just covered there, is there anything else? It doesn't have to be tactical stuff, more big picture, mentality, however you want to approach it. Anything else for the
Yeah,
coming year that an office can become more empowered?
yes.
Whether it's a cadence on their meetings or goal setting, anything else you recommend for just more in a more empowering year from a coaching standpoint?
Yeah, there is. So I have a coach. I think everybody should have a coach. It's
Agreed.
amazing what an objective third party can help you accomplish. But anyways, I had a meeting with my coach last week, and my assignment for between now and our next meeting, which is on January 4th, is to look back over the course of 2023 and actually write down in a journal or a notebook or on a sticky note or whatever, um, everything I learned in 2023, not topic specific, although you can break it down by topic if you want, but just the things that I learned, the important lessons that I learned in 2023,
Mm,
the things that really stand out. And he gave me a little foreshadowing. He said, all right, well, what we're going to do on January 4th is we're going to take everything that you learned in 2023, and we're going to set some goals for 2024, and we're going to apply what you learned to your actions, to your to-dos, in order to accomplish these goals. So in doing that, we don't just repeat 2023.
yeah.
So you're always growing, you're always moving forward with what you've learned. And by actually writing it down, and I've been keeping the list, adding to it since we spoke, and it's really powerful, because you think of things and your brain kind of starts chewing on, oh, what did I learn? And you think of stuff over time. And so maybe take between now and well, whenever you hear this, it doesn't matter. Take what you've learned over the last 12 months. It doesn't have to be a calendar year, and set some goals for the next 12 months. Again, don't worry about the calendar year. Set some goals for the next 12 months. And when you're planning your activities or actions in an effort to accomplish those goals, apply the things that you learned from that list that you made at whatever point in time.
Yeah. Writing things down is so important. We've talked about it before on the pod, where like just carrying a pen and paper with you everywhere, to the gym, going for a walk, to lunch. Because like I can't tell you how many times I'll write down an idea, and later on that day, I'll look at the piece of paper with the notes from the day. I'm like, oh, like that would have been lost forever if I did not record that. Like
Long
finito,
gone.
gone, like long gone.
Disappeared. Yep.
It could not just be an idea. It could be a task, a reminder, just whatever it is, just writing it down. Like while you're speaking, I wrote down a couple things to go with you later, like with the website, like literally, like, and so just write it down. I was fortunate enough to be on a meeting with a good friend of mine years ago, and whatever, it's like they own a lot of stuff, like the family. It like he's the father's uh, a media mogul, let's call it, right? Sports teams, all that type of stuff. And I'll never forget, he was giving advice to the executive, like the people who were they own this company at the time, and he said, make sure you write down everything. And they're like, what? They're like, everything that gets covered in this upcoming meeting, write it down. So it's more digestible. You remember, it's trackable. Oh, there's something with the learning and retention to the exercise of writing it down. And you read about the Richard Bransons of the world, like they're always writing things down. He's always journaling, follows Instagram, like always journaling, writing it down. The Rock is always writing things down. He's carrying his binder. And so writing it down, that's a big thing. And you know what I want to do for
Yeah.
my goal? I want to thank you for this. I'm gonna design some custom write down like cards. Because for me, it's like either like a big piece of paper, white piece of paper, or like I'm real conscious about the pen and the paper, but I feel like I should have my own customized like daily like notepad, like Brad's notes for today. Because
There you go.
it's a little more like it's a little more refined and systematized. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna design those. I'm not gonna design them. I'm gonna ask Monica to design those. And that's my I'm gonna write that down, buddy.
I love it.
Design,
I love it.
customize, daily note, no, notepads, right? Notepads, whatever.
Could you have it bound in a little journal, just like Brad's notes? And
You rip off the page every day because I take the piece of paper out, not a whole journal with me. I want like just a piece of paper and the pen I put in my pocket. So like
oh, okay,
that I could
gotcha,
go like
gotcha.
go on the elliptical and stuff. Then at the gym, and like I got it on me, right?
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like doing notes on a phone and all that. I want to like write it down.
I've tried. It doesn't. Some people can do it. It doesn't work for me either.
Oh
Something about the physical act of writing something with a pen that there's. I don't know the neuro biology of that, but
yeah,
there's something to it.
we should ask Atia, Dr. Atia. But there's
Yes, we
like
should.
there's literally like from me, like I'll be like literally sweating, like, oh, like remember this, get this book or something, right?
Yep.
And I feel like when I use the notes app, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't looked at this forever. What are these ideas? Like it's different for everyone, but I gotta do a custom thing because for me, that like I said, it gives it another level of importance. And
Mm-hmm.
then I could keep those and file them away and reference them later on. Thanks for the inspiration, buddy. Every time I talk to you, bro, it's epiphanies left and right with you.
Right back at you. I absolutely love our conversations, and whether we are recording them or not, I always leave feeling great, feeling energized, and got a whole bunch of new ideas and cool stuff to go do or play with or check out. And yeah, I'm just super grateful. And we talked about Next Health, and talked about a few other things.
Yeah.
But I gotta circle back right to just what an absolute marketing genius you are.
Oh
I
man,
mean,
that's sweet of you.
you
Thanks.
you have made an unbelievable difference in so many doctors' lives. It's really when they tally up the accomplishments in the sky, uh, you're I think you've got a lot of hash marks behind your name.
No, man, that's so sweet of you.
I'm serious. I
This
mean,
pod's about you. That's really sweet of you to say. You know what? Like
you've changed a
like
lot of
you.
people's lives.
Well, like I feel like we all have a responsibility, whatever we do in life, to not only love what we do to provide value, though, and just do what we can. But the cool thing is, and we were talking about this before early at the start of our call today, our strategy call. It's really cool when you like talk to a client, like or see someone at a conference years ago. Like my coolest thing is like I'll like if I'm like sometimes at a conference I'll like be presenting and like I'll meet someone. We haven't even worked with them. They just like happen to hear me speak like years ago. And they're like, I just want to thank you. You told me to do these three things and we've done it. And like you have no idea what it's done for the practice of my life. I'm like, and that's for someone I don't even know, right? And then obviously when
Yeah.
you work together, there's a whole different 10x to that. But no, that's
Oh
what it's
yeah,
about.
yeah.
And same with everyone listening, changing people's lives. You give a patient a healthy, beautiful smile, and years later, they're like, you know, dream job and whatever else they're able to fulfill with that smile, dude. Thank you so much. I want to make this a recurring thing because we're talking on the time, and
Let's do it.
we'll do our stuff and then we'll hit record. And by the way, Brad's got a podcast also, a fairly new show called Empowered Dentist. So you should check out Brad's pod. It's great. A lot of cool content on there. And so where can people find you, buddy?
They can find me on LinkedIn, Empowered Dentist. They can find me on all the usual podcast subscribe or channels,
Yeah.
um, and or you can check out my website, empowereddentist.com, and there are two D's in that, empowereddentist.com. Check it out, and if you want to book a call with me, there's a button right on there to do that. Feel free. I'd love to chat with you and see how maybe we could help you take back your life.
Become more
Really
empowered.
have more empowerment. Absolutely. And yeah, you take back your life, you take back the power of where you want to go and what you want to do. And yeah, feel free. I'd love to meet you, love to chat. and see if there's something I could do to help you. And if not, maybe we just make some new friends. That'd be great too.
Exactly. Well, buddy, I'm looking forward to another dinner with getting the band together, me, you, PK, and Marcus. So, all right, buddy. Well, thanks for sharing your time and everything. And
well, thanks for the opportunity. This is really cool. Anytime I get to hang out with you is cool.
My pleasure, buddy. And thank you everyone for tuning into this episode of Buzz. If you become more empowered as a leader, a dentist, and a team, you'll without question have way more success, fulfillment, and joy in life. And you'll also be a wizard of buzz. Take care. We'll catch you on the next episode.